Hello everyone, JDev has returned once again to give you exactly what you want. Of course, that would be more of me, that amazing, beautiful backdrop that's usually behind me, giving you my thoughts, my opinions, and what I hope will be some expert analysis on a certain topic subject. Of course, it's Sunday night, and it's October, so that can only mean one thing, usually, and that is my weekly Walking Dead recap video. But before I recap tonight's episode of The Walking Dead, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about, so it's going to be more of a review rather than a recap. If you're not caught up with The Walking Dead, and that's through Season 10, Episode number 2, going into Episode 3, I highly suggest you don't watch this video. That way, nothing gets spoiled for you. So, you've been warned. So, Season 10, which I can't believe they're on right now. Walking Dead, 10 seasons, that's unbelievable. Episode number 3, the episode title was Ghosts, and it was a really awesome episode. I'm really going to recap this episode because there's a lot of things that happened in this episode. So the episode starts off with different times in a 48-hour time period with Walker showing up at Alexandria and our big group having to essentially not have any sleep to fend off all these walkers that keep showing up at Alexandria. Good stuff. A couple of cool walker kills, just showing the groups, they're hallucinating a little bit to a certain degree. That was good. We think that's done by the Whisperers, but we were led to believe that's not the case, but I think it was them. Who knows? We'll find out shortly, I think. There's another scene where Gamma, the new Whisperer that we were introduced to last week in the Whisper episode, shows up at Alexandria and tells Michonne to meet her at the north border to speak, not meet her, but meet at the north border to speak to her, which is Alpha. Gamma, I don't know about a Gamma, but we'll see. So that was interesting. We find out that Carol is popping lots of pills, and I mean lots of pills, because she doesn't want to sleep, because when she sleeps, she hallucinates and sees random people in her hallucinations. We get lots of Negan this episode, so Negan gets, Negan tells Father Gabriel he'd rather garden and pick tomatoes than fight. And Gabriel says, no, we need fighters, or you need fighters, you can fight, you're a perfect match. What we saw in the trailer for Season 10. And Negan apparently is now a fighter and not gardener anymore. So it's always fun when you get lots of Negan. It just makes the episode a lot more entertaining. And I know he likes to pick tomatoes at Alexandria, but he needs to do more. There's a scene where Aaron and Negan go out, and Aaron has this little, I don't know what that thing is called with all the spikes on it, that hand with all the spikes, but it's not a hand, it's like a ball with spikes. I don't know the proper term for it, but there's a really cool walker kill. And then Negan has a staff, so now Negan is Morgan apparently, and he's killing walkers. And then he finds a crowbar, but Aaron tells him he can't use it, which is, it's a little insulting that Aaron's trying to babysit Negan. They actually get into it, and Aaron tells him he can't put the crowbar back. He's going to use the staff, and that's it. And then they start getting up each other's face, like, Aaron tells Negan, or asks Negan, is it my fault that Eric, his old boyfriend from season 8? Season 8, episode 2? Was he responsible for his death? Was it his fault that Eric died? And Negan's like, yeah, probably. That's how it goes. And then he told Negan that he's responsible for Lucille's death, and that Lucille was dissatisfied with Negan for being such a crap human being, whatever. And that was pretty intense. But then we get a scene. Well, actually, then what happens is, as Aaron's in Negan's face, Negan says, any words, any thoughts for that? And Negan's like, yeah, turn around. And then there's a bunch of walkers that come up, grab Aaron and take Aaron to the ground, and Negan runs off and hides. And then we go to a scene where where Alpha wanted them to meet at the north border where all the pikes are. And it's Daryl, Carol, Michonne. There's a couple other people there. I don't recall who exactly was there with them. I know Laura was one of the people that was at least behind them at one point, following them to that north border. But it's revealed there that Alpha knows that there's been 3 separate times that the group collectively has went over the border when they weren't supposed to. I don't know what's up with that, but something we don't know about. I'm guessing there's a spy or something, or they have video surveillance, or I don't know, but Alpha knows that 3 separate times they went over the border, and she knows. She got the details and specifics, so that's interesting, but nonetheless, Carol brought a gun with her to that and tries to shoot Alpha. Alpha doesn't even flinch, and she mentions the fact that, oh, when your boy, he was screaming your name as I was chomping his head off, or well, before I was going to chomp his head off, and that made Carol try to shoot her. And it's pretty intense stuff, though, because with her shooting, when Daryl punched Negan, when Negan, debuted in the TV series, Negan said that's another person that's got to have their brains bashed in, and that's how Glenn died, because of Daryl. And Alpha didn't seem that mad about that, actually, and now she wants the border to be extended to where they get like all their food and supplies, and they can't pass that part. They can't even go to that part and get food and supplies. So obviously nobody's a big fan of that, but Michonne and Daryl are trying to agree with everything that Alpha says, but I don't know why they are, but hopefully that stuff ends. We talked about Carol trying to shoot Alpha. Actually, she would have probably shot her. I don't remember if it's Daryl or Michonne that altered her arm. Otherwise, she would have probably shot her. But anyway, Aaron follows Negan to a house, but he doesn't know where Negan is because he can't see, because one of the walkers that attacked him had like some kind of stuff that made him temporarily blind and maybe a rash on him. And there's parts where he's kind of feeling around the place. Negan's just sitting there in a chair the whole time with his just sitting back and relaxing. And at one point, Aaron goes to the door and walkers come through the door, and Aaron's about to get it, and then Negan saves him. And pretty good stuff between Aaron and Negan in this episode. I really enjoyed it, actually. The more Negan we get, the better it seems it is. In fact, I'm a little mad that Judith didn't get a lot of time in this episode. So we need more Negan and more Judith. So that was good. Oh, there's a part I forgot about this. I kind of went ahead of myself. But I'm kind of jumping back and forth. So if this is out of not in necessarily order, or not in the correct order, it's because I just kind of remember things as the particular actors and actresses are in the scenes. But there's a part where Aaron trips Negan earlier on, before all this stuff happens. And Negan's like, what, are we 12? Did you just trip me? Are we 12? And that was actually made me laugh for about 20 seconds. It was pretty funny. We got more of Carol popping pills. A lot of it, she's hallucinating. She sees a book cover at some place that they go to kind of rest. And on that book cover, she sees Henry and all her random kids that she's had. Mika, Lizzie, Henry, and Sophia. Sad stuff there. Again, Negan saves Aaron in that place that they're at with his crowbar that he kept. And I think they kind of make up. Sort of. We'll see. Carol hallucinates, sees a bunch of other stuff. Sees Daryl in a hallucination. And yeah, Carol's fucked up right now. She also sees Henry. So Matthew Lintz came back for this episode, or Matt Lintz. The older Henry version, not the younger kid version of Henry. Dante and Siddiq, more or less Dante, pull a shard out of Carol, and because she gets trapped by a whisperer. I'm not really sure what was going on there, but they pull it out, and Carol's fucked up, and now she's out of sleeping pills. But Dante's slowly but surely showing his worth to the group. But I gotta wonder, was Siddiq at the place where Alpha chopped everybody's head off? Was Siddiq the one that's the spy giving Alpha information somehow, some way? I don't know, but somebody's got to be doing it, unless they have like spies up in trees. Like, I don't know. It's got to be Siddiq. I don't see anything else. I don't know how anything else would fit. But who knows? And then we get a cool scene where Rosita and Eugene are kind of chilling. Rosita says, "Thanks for helping. I don't know why you did that. It seemed like you wanted to go." And he's like, "Well, I don't want this baby to grow up without its mother." And then Rosita starts flipping out on Eugene, saying that nothing will ever happen, ever. And then Eugene's like, well, actually, when people are hallucinating, the feelings that they have in their heart come out. So you, by saying that, means that you want it to happen. And Rosita's like, no, nothing. So I gotta believe that at some point this season, Rosita and Eugene are gonna get it on somehow, some way. I mean, this 3 men and a baby and Rosita thing is, somebody's got to get Rosita before she dies in the season, because I think Rosita's probably a good possibility for a death, along with King Ezekiel, a major death this season, possibly both of them. We shall see, especially with Rosita getting another role in a different film, Netflix series, I think, actually. So, but that was more or less the episode. There was another scene where they follow some blood trails from where Carol was, I guess I didn't touch on this. Carol got in a trap where she got pulled up in the air, kind of like Will Smith does in I Am Legend with the dog, where he's up. And one of the whispers that Carol killed during that reanimates as it's laying there. And that's how the episode ends. But it was a really good episode. I really enjoyed it. Lots of little things. No crazy deaths or anything, but lots of little things to make this episode exciting and kind of on the edge of my seat, so to speak. Lots of Negan, not a lot of Judith, but I'm a little upset about that. But if I had to score this episode, which I really want to give it a good score, but it's only the third episode of the season, if I had to rate this episode in between a 0 and a 10, I'm going to give this episode a 9.4 because it had a lot of stuff in it for the third episode of the season. I liked it. I enjoyed it, and I stand by my scoring. Obviously, you're welcome to leave a comment on what you think. If you're a fan of The Walking Dead, especially, write your opinions. Anything you got. Give the episode a score. Like or thumb up the video, depending on if you're on Facebook or YouTube, or both. Share it, favorite it, but comment. I want to just talk about this stuff, so comment on it. And of course, if you guys want to know, everybody asked me, who do I listen to for Walking Dead stuff? Who do I watch for Walking Dead stuff? And I'll give you a couple of those YouTube channels, but I basically watch MMO. But I watch a lot of Trev's Chan 2. Trev's Chan 2 is my favorite YouTube channel. Trev from Canada, he's awesome. Seska Says, I love watching her reactions because she gets so into her reactions that you almost think they're fake, but they're not. I also like Blind Wave. They review a lot of stuff that I like. They give reactions of the episode, and then they do a review right afterwards. So those are three of my favorites. I also like Akasana, even though his knowledge might not be up there. He's fun to listen to. And yeah, from just off the top of my head, those are what I like. So do me a favor, leave a comment, like or thumb up the video, share, favorite it, subscribe if you want to. And of course, I'll be back again soon with another. Peace.